Hi, this is Paul Hitchcock with Wealth Protector TV, and really excited to have my guest Mark Thomas here with us today. And we're talking about his consulting practice and going from working at corporate America, an employee, into self-employment. So Mark, I'm just going to jump into it. This is a fascinating discussion for me. We're talking a little bit offline, but if I'm a guy that has worked my whole career at a company as an employee, and now I have an inkling that maybe I'm interested in being self-employed, and you and I are having that first discussion, what takes place in that discussion? How do you approach me?
Right. So I would want to understand what has motivated you to consider self-employment and business ownership. For a lot of my clients, it's a curiosity and interest. For others, they've made that decision that that's what they want to do, but they're not sure where to start.
How does the curiosity come about? I mean, what is going on at their company that motivates them to talk to you?
Right. So as you pointed out, typically I'm talking to folks that have worked in corporate America for a number of years, 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. They, maybe some life event, perhaps restructuring of the business,
Right.
or perhaps just recognizing that they've been working for others for a lot of years, and they're now ready to start to build equity and wealth for themselves.
And so if it's not a forced departure from the company, is it a lifestyle issue sometimes too?
Can be, yeah.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can be. I would say at least half of my clients, they've just come to that point in their career where they want to do something for themselves. They've had that entrepreneurial interest, and they've come to a point where they're ready to now
Time is
explore
right.
that further. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get on a call with you. What are we talking about on that call? And what are you walking me through? Because I imagine there's some trepidation with the people you're talking to.
Indeed.
How do you put them at ease? What are you talking about? How much detail are you getting into?
Well, I am interested in understanding what's important to my client from an incomes point of view, from a business lifestyle perspective, and what other important goals or aspirations the client has. And with that understanding, then I can sit down and put together some specific recommendations based on those that criteria. There's just a myriad of business opportunities out there, and it's finding the one that fits the client.
Is it a fit? Well, I want to ask you on the income side of it. Are people, as part of it, that they want to make a lot more money, or is it they want to make the same amount of money? And how do you kind of talk about the income? Is it, hey, sky's the limit, now you're self-employed, or what are you talking about on the income thing?
Again, that's really driven by the client. I have clients that are approaching retirement age.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they see another 5, 8, 10 years left in their career. They've maybe raised their children, so their income requirements are less ambitious, if you will.
Interesting.
But they do understand the value in building equity, creating a business that they can pass on to their family if
Wow,
they
that's
so
interesting,
choose.
yeah.
And then I've got other younger clients that are looking, as you point out, to increase their income.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that understanding, we can look at models that serve one of those purposes.
Is there a certain type of a personality that makes it more fluid to go into self-employment, or is it just a mixed bag of personality types?
So that's one of the cautions or one of the reservations that a lot of clients have going into this conversation. They're not sure they're ready. They're not sure that their background and skill sets are going to allow them to be successful as a business owner. And part of my role as a coach is to point out the fact that they have developed a lot of skill sets, and those experiences are going to be readily transferable to a variety of different business concepts. So it's a matter of recognizing that their successes working for others. Most of us figure out how to succeed, how to win, if you will, in the jobs that we've been in our career, and we can do the same for ourselves if we're given that opportunity.
Interesting. So you're looking at their career path, what they've done, and kind of getting past the fear, saying you've accomplished a lot already. So you're kind of a coach in that regard, helping them point it out. And is there the challenge. I mean, what are some of the issues that people have to get through in order to succeed when they're self-employed? I mean, is it like what are some of the challenges that you say, okay, you're gonna have to deal with these issues?
So a lot of clients will initially focus on how do I replace my employment income with self-employment income, and how quickly or how long is it going to take to do that?
Because there's a variable component now, right?
There is.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
ramp period to every business that you get involved in. So we talk about that and understanding what's their tolerance and what's their financial resources. I have some clients that need to replace their employment income quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Others have the ability to sustain a longer ramp. And so understanding that's part of the criteria that we apply to finding business models that are going to be best suited for the client.
So once you really dive kind of deeply and get into the weeds a bit with the client, what they're all about, then there's a match to a business model.
That's right.
And they get to really sink their teeth into that model and understand what it is.
Yeah, and typically I like to present 2 or 3 models. I think there's a lot of benefit in being able to compare and contrast between different business models. So I will generally invite my client to not focus on just one initially. I think the approach I'm taking is one of educating the client and helping them get familiar and not feel like they're being sold or persuaded in one direction or another.
Yes, you're not jamming them into this one option over
No.
here. It's like, okay, I've had many options. What's the right fit?
Yes, indeed. Yep, and I see this as a collaborative process. The client, as they start to dig in and learn about the business model, they discover what they're liking and not liking. And then we take that into consideration, and sometimes we'll redirect and go in another pathway.
And it seems like the climate is fantastic for entrepreneurs right now. I mean, obviously we're all reading about the successes of entrepreneurs and with technology, the internet, and just the economy. It just seems like, okay, there's a lot of opportunity to really make it work. Is that a fair statement?
True, very true. And the other thing that plays into this, and it's applying now to even younger generation, where the employment market generally doesn't offer the same security and predictability that it used to.
No.
And so job security is less certain in this environment, and people are recognizing that, and people are wanting to have more control over their destiny.
Right,
And
right.
There's not a better way to doing that than through self-employment.
Yeah, those days of the 40-year career at one company, get the gold watch. I mean, those are long over. It seems
Right.
like, yeah.
Yeah, there's very little loyalty in this day and age, and frankly speaking, this is a very buoyant work environment right now. There are a lot of options, a lot of choices. So, in some respects, that can be kind of a safety net for people that are going to look at self-employment. They can go out and look at it. If they don't find something that fits, or they discover that it really isn't the right fit for them, they still have the opportunity to go back and find a job.
Yeah, and you and I have had a chance to talk about your process and meeting people, and it seems like such a thoughtful process that you really take time to get to know the person, and like you said, if there's a fit, it's a strategic fit, and it's not a forced entry in anything, and it just seems like it works well when you're talking to people.
It is, it's very rewarding for me, because I've helped somebody realize their dream or their goal.
Great. Mark, great information. Thank you everybody for jumping on this episode, and I hope you continue to stay tuned in for future episodes. We'll see you next time.